stand, those who are able. We're going to read from Matthew chapter 8, beginning around verse 20 through 39. And the title of the lesson is When God Delivers. Looking now at Matthew chapter 8, beginning at verse 28, it reads this way. And when he was come to the other side, into the country of the Gergesenes, there met him who possessed. What have we to do with thee, Jesus, thou Son of God? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time? Amen. When God delivers. Amen. You may have your seats. At first glance, some of us are confused. We know about the story of one person that has the history of having the legion of demons. However, we just read from Matthew 8. And it says to us that there were two. And so, if you don't mind, we want to just hang out with this idea for a second. Yes, sir. That misery loves company. As you see, Matthew's version shows that there were two persons possessed with demons, whereas Mark and Luke speak about just one person being possessed with demons. And real quick, we do want to offer for a moment that those who have been unfortunate to have been impacted by demonic work, meaning that something has taken over one's mind and has made life difficult for them, it's usually because those demons are miserable and they love company. And if you don't mind, we want to continue to walk through this text because it's important to know that while misery loves company, the master loves correction. In other words, if you're demonized, Jesus wants to deliver you. If you're sick, Jesus wants to heal you. If you're hungry, Jesus wants to feed you. If you're thirsty, Jesus wants to refresh you. If you're lost, Jesus wants to find you. If you're crooked, Jesus wants to straighten you. If you are having any problems, if you're in darkness, Jesus wants to bring you into the marvelous light. And so I'm glad today that while misery loves company, the master loves correction. And so yes, in our lesson today, we find that there are issues. There's somebody or persons who are demonized. And as we look deeper into the text, we find that not only were issues present, but there was an inquiry present. And when Jesus makes the inquiry, who are you? What is your name? And we see that he wants to address the problem. And in addressing the problem, he asks, what is your name? And that's when they responded, we're legion. Because we are many. And so here is where Jesus then moves to invalidate. He says, get out! Because Jesus knows it is better to be free from demonic activity so that one can enjoy his or her life. So Jesus is all about freeing those who are bound. Can I get a witness? And as we go further into the text, we find that the income was important in the story. Because when we look at the release, it says that the people, the demons didn't want to just go. Yeah, isn't that right? And so they said, look at verse 31. It says, if thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine. Talking about income. And he said, Jesus said unto them, verse 32, go. And that's where they went. Are you ready for this? And it says, and when they were gone out, they went into the herd of swine, and behold, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place. The owner of the swine lost his investment. And how many people know that ministry costs money?
Yes.
And whenever God aims to use whatever belongs to him, and you know the earth, so the owner of the swine, he really was just a manager. Because the boss man used what he chose to use, which means that ministry costs money. And then there is the importation. You were hurting, yet you were helped. You who need help, there's someone willing to help you. And so this person who was hurting, or persons, depending on which, they needed Jesus to do some ministry on them. Can I get a witness? Amen. And the ministry is to help those who cannot help themselves. And so yes, hurting because of what is holding him and where he is hiding. He's held by chains and he's hiding in tombs. And yet, Jesus is able to help him out of his bad situation. Because I was sinking deep in sin. Far from the peaceful shore. I was very deeply stained within, sinking to rise no more. But the master of the sea, he heard my despairing cry. From the water, he lifted me. Now safe am I. It is because the master loves correction. And so the man that had, or the persons that had this legion of demons stood no chance. They stood no chance against a God like Christ who will correct whatever's wrong. Now, if you keep going, you'll find that there's a turn in the stories.
Right.
Okay.
It says here that in verse 33, they came, and they that kept them fled and went their ways into the city, talking about the ones that owned the swine, to the possession of the devils. So they testified that Jesus sent the demons out of the one or the two. Y'all with me?
Yeah.
Okay, now, by the time we get to verse 34, in Matthew's version alone, it says, and behold, the whole city came. They came out to meet Jesus. And when they saw that he would depart, go away, leave,
Wow.
be dismissed,
Wow.
be fired,
Wow.
get out from their coast. Now, I wish this was not true. Y'all with me, right? But the multitude in the story limited the Creator. Because the problem with stories is that in all three cases, in all three versions, we find that the people wanted Jesus gone.
Wow.
After they saw what he had done. And I wish it were not true. But some people get pleasure out of your pain.
See?
Can I stay there for a minute?
See?
I wish it were not true, but some folk get joy out of your problem. They get happiness out of your hurt, satisfaction out of your struggle. Rather than being happy for the man or persons that were freed from demons, they were upset. Think about you for a moment. When you were struggling with something and trusting in God got you free, and then there are some folk that instead of being happy for you were mad at you. Well, you better stay tuned. Because in spite of it all, we know already that misery loves company. The master loves correction. The multitude limits the creator. But in spite of it all, ministry requires compassion. Compassion suggests that we have a heart to help those who are in need. We're not required to take care of those whom God has given a right mind and the activity of their limbs. Helpers at the end of your arms. They call them hands. Or you got two other friends that like to help you. They're at the end of your legs called feet. So God is not, he's not requiring us to take care of folk who are in the story of today with the person or persons that bless you to do.
Yeah.
Every now and then as I'm driving, I will get shocked and amazed as I'm about to make a left or right turn, and at that precise moment, that's when the person steps off the curb.
Yeah.
I know that don't happen to none of y'all. It don't happen to nobody but me. As soon as I get to the place where I'm going to make a left or a right, at that precise moment, if I'm by myself, let me know. But if I'm not by myself, I need somebody to say at least one amen. At the precise moment I want to make my turn, they step off the curb, which means I got to stop. Amen. Does that happen to anyone? If you're in cyberspace, won't you type it